what is your favorite business book and why?
Right. I have 3, and as a librarian, I know you can understand it's hard to pick just one. And these are 3 books that have been important to me at different phases in life. The first one is called Super Crunchers by Ian Ayers. It's really a manifesto for why analytics are important to a business. And so when I was starting the marketing analytics practice at Chick-fil-A, for me, it was great to be able to have this, to be able to share with people the value of analytics. It gives a lot of great examples for how companies have used analytics to really take their business to the next level. So probably a little dated now. It came out in 2007, but at the time, it was great. And really the conclusion of the book is that analytics are not going to replace intuition, but it's a great complement for intuition because it can inform your intuition and your intuition can inform your analytics. So love that book. It's a pretty easy read. Second book that I'm going to recommend is Resonate by Nancy Duarte. It's a great book on communication. Nancy's written a whole series of books like Spidology and other things on communication. Resonate was the first one that I read. And I thought it was great because it really helps you figure out how to connect with your audience and inspire them to take action. He kind of has this idea of the audience is the hero because they're the ones who actually have to make a decision or take action. The presenter is the mentor who's trying to share some new information with them and encourage them to go on this journey that they need to go on to then make a difference in the world. And so she analyzed hundreds of speeches and movies and stories, everything from Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech to George Lucas's Star Wars. And she found that all of these great stories have kind of a similar story structure, which is they start with what is, and then they show what could be. And they keep going back and forth between what is, what's the current state, what's wrong, why we can't continue with this, and what could be if we take action, what's this better future state that we could create together. And so it keeps going back and forth between this disconnect. And in the end, you end with a call to action and you leave them with a picture of what could be. And I found that very helpful in my consulting work at Logosphere as I'm trying to encourage clients to take action. I found that very helpful in teaching at Emory. And honestly, even as a mom, I find that helpful. So it seems like it's a great way to really inspire people to take action. And then finally, the third book I would recommend, it's a classic. It's much denser and longer than the other books, but it is The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And I like the version that has commentary by Jason Zweig because it has some new updated things like REITs and tips and things that other financial instruments that didn't exist when Benjamin Graham wrote it, back in the 30s. But I find it just to be a classic, just really comprehensive, common sense guide to value investing. Like I said, it's heavy, it's long, but during the pandemic, when I had a lot of free time, it was one that I picked up and I really enjoyed, especially with the markets being so volatile and inflation now being on the rise. I find it a great way just to understand what's going on and what I need to do personally investing. So those would be my top 3.
Wonderful.